watches Peppa Pig knows how entertaining and full of funny situations this series is. But have you ever noticed some small animation slip-ups that appear throughout the episodes? Let's dive into some of these moments. For example, in the episode where Peppa visits Molly Mole's house, located in a burrow beneath Rebecca Rabbit's home. As they enter Molly's room, we notice a few details: a ladder, a toolbox, and a drawing of 2 flowers above her. Everything seems in place, but in the following scene, we see that the flower drawing has magically moved next to the ladder instead of above it. What a trip, right? In the same episode, Daddy Pig comes to pick Peppa up at the Mole family's house and enters Molly's room. In this scene, everything seems to be in its proper place, but surprisingly, a new element appears. A painting on the wall that definitely wasn't there before. Looks like the animators decided to add a last-minute decorative touch. Even though it's one of the most popular cartoons ever, we managed to find 20 mistakes in Peppa Pig that you'll definitely want to check out. So, get ready as we dive nose first into the incredible world of Peppa Pig. We found another mistake in the episode where Peppa and her friends visit the kids' Playcenter, where all the toys are super colorful and cute. When Edmund Elephant is bouncing on a foam pad, we notice 2 identical orange dice below him, both marked with the same letters, H and E, along with the number 3. Looks like the animators decided to reuse the dice to fill the scene, but we didn't miss it. Another example of a mistake in the series occurs in the episode where Susie Sheep, Peppa's best friend, comes over to play at Peppa's house. Right at the start, the 2 friends pull out a bunch of toys from the basket and spread them all over the room. Peppa and Susie are having fun, but George quickly wants to join in. However, his sister doesn't let him. Meanwhile, we observe a curious detail. The yellow horn next to the green notebook on the floor suddenly disappears without any explanation. And shortly afterward, out of nowhere, the horn reappears in another corner of the room as if nothing happened. Could this be a Toy Story in Peppa Pig style? In this same episode, when George goes downstairs to eat cookies with his mom, he hears the girls having fun. We notice an interesting detail. Now there's a drawing on the wall, but it's not the dinosaur one that was there before. Instead, it's an elephant and a sun. And the strangest part is that this drawing had already appeared somewhere else earlier, next to Peppa and George's bunk bed. It seems the drawing simply teleported to another spot in the room. There's more! Earlier, when Peppa and Susie pull toys out of the basket, the first item they grab is a jack-in-the-box, which even pops open. Right after talking to George, the toy mysteriously vanishes from the floor. Unlike the horn, it doesn't reappear anywhere else in the episode. Could the animators have simply forgotten about it? Maybe they just didn't feel like redrawing the box. Still talking about the toy episode, there's another funny mistake. At the beginning, while Peppa and Susie are next to the toy basket, we can see 2 dinosaur drawings on the wall, likely done by George. A little later, we see the girls playing again, but this time, the dinosaur drawings on the wall have simply vanished. It's as if they were never there. If you're enjoying this awesome list of mistakes, prove it and comment George down below. Since Peppa sidelines him, we won't do the same. One of the funniest Peppa episodes also includes a detail that makes no sense at all. During a safety lesson, Dr. Bear instructs the kids to be careful while walking, but then he trips over a ball and rolls down the hill, landing on some prickly plants. In the scene, we see the ambulance completely closed, but shortly after, when Dr. Bear lands in an apple tree and gets a head full of apples, the driver's door appears mysteriously open. Who opened the door while everyone was watching Dr. Bear's mishap? Total mystery. Later, when Madame Gazelle and the children get in the ambulance to help Dr. Bear, they position themselves at the back doors. On one side is Peppa, and on the other is Molly Mole. But as they approach the apple tree where poor Dr. Bear is sprawled, we see that Peppa has switched sides. Now with Rebecca Rabbit, while Molly Mole has completely disappeared. It's like they changed positions just as the ambulance reversed. Also, Madame Gazelle, who was driving, logically should exit through the driver's door, but she magically appears on the other side of the ambulance, leaving us puzzled. Looks like the animators really enjoy playing with our minds. Returning to the Playcenter episode, while the kids are having fun, the moms get into a bit of a mess. At one point, we see Mommy Pig and Mrs. Rabbit stuck together on the same giant cushion. Between scenes, we can see a colorful die that was next to Mommy Pig appears farther away in the next scene, as if it moved all on its own. Another Toy Story effect, right? In the same episode, we see Richard Rabbit near a toy with 2 foam cylinders. Beside it, there are colorful dice. And if you look closely, the one nearest is red with the letters J and C and the number 5. Later, in a wider shot, we notice another die next to the red one with the letter F and the number 4. Now here's the mystery. When the kids refuse to leave and Rabbit goes into the toy to retrieve them, Mommy Pig also steps in to help, but ends up getting stuck. At this point, we only see the die with the F beside Mommy Pig. The one with the letters J and C has completely vanished. In another part of the same episode, when Daddy Pig, Peppa, and Susie arrive, something odd happens. We see 3 balloons on the ceiling. So far, so good. But in the next scene, more balloons appear next to them as if by magic. Speaking of toys, back to the episode where the series' best friends play together without George. When Peppa and Susie take the toys out of the basket, the first thing they grab is a jack-in-the-box. After talking to George for a bit, the toy just vanishes. This time, the toy disappears completely, as if the animators simply forgot about it. And, just like magic, you can watch Peppa's videos anytime here on our channel. Just click the subscribe button down below. As you've likely noticed by now, many objects mysteriously appear and disappear throughout Peppa Pig episodes, and there's one particular scene that really got me intrigued. This happens in the episode where the Pig family visits the police station to try and locate George's toy dinosaur. Looking at the police station desk, we see a box with 2 very tempting donuts, which will probably be devoured by the officers soon. When the officers approach George to take down the details, they head to the storage area, and suddenly the box and donuts have disappeared. Did Daddy Pig sneak in a quick bite while everyone was distracted? We can only imagine. In another interesting episode, we notice another slip-up. Madame Gazelle asks the students to bring drawings to school, and the children bring Daddy Pig's dragon drawing to show. The wall is decorated with various drawings, including a butterfly, a carrot, and a small tractor, each with a star above it. However, when Madame Gazelle awards a star to Daddy Pig, the arrangement of the drawings has completely changed. The tractor is now directly below the butterfly, and the carrot has moved to the side. Did Madame Gazelle rearrange the drawings herself? Let's move on to the moment Daddy Pig decides to go up to the attic to retrieve a dragon drawing he made as a child. Next to some boxes, where there's a blue bag, we notice an abstract painting propped up with a chest behind it. When Daddy Pig finds his old school folder, we see that the chest behind the painting has mysteriously disappeared. Back in the attic, after the chest has disappeared, we see that the painting, which was previously next to the boxes, is now magically behind Daddy Pig. Without a doubt, it's a classic mystery of the Pig family's attic. Switching topics, in another episode, Daddy Pig decides to teach the kids how to make their own mud puddles. Peppa is standing very close to George, Candy, and Susie. But in the next scene, we see that Peppa has magically moved away from the other children. It's as if she teleported. In the same episode, a bit later, there's a scene where Daddy Pig shows the kids how the concrete works that he and his crew are using to build the new playground. The kids watch closely, and we see George standing right next to his older sister Peppa. Then, without much thought, Daddy Pig decides to jump into the concrete, which is definitely not a mud puddle, and Edmund Elephant explains that the concrete will harden quickly. At this very moment, George mysteriously vanishes from where he was next to Peppa. I bet you're also wondering, did he fall into the concrete? Fortunately, no! George reappears next to Peppa shortly afterward, a bit further ahead than where he was before. This little disappearing act almost gave me a scare. Despite all these small mistakes, Peppa Pig remains a super fun show. And if you want to keep enjoying, just pick one of the videos on the screen to keep watching. We've selected more amazing videos just for you.